As I savored the crisp effervescence of champagne, a voice sliced through the soft hum of the celebration. It was sharp, dripping with disdain, and intended to echo. He holds no power. Let him eat with the servants. Her sister's laugh followed, a jagged, spiteful sound that pierced the air. My wife's silence stung deeper than any retort could. She offered no defense, not even a fleeting glance in my direction. The insult lingered, festering in the room's atmosphere. But instead of crumbling, I let a subtle, dangerous smile curve my lips. Not the broken expression they expected, but the calm, lethal grin of a man who had sharpened his resolve long before. Discreetly, I drew my phone from my pocket and typed a brief, calculated command. Cancel the contract. With that, $30 million evaporated. My wife froze, her sister paled, and their cousin, the bride, halted mid-laugh, her breath catching in her throat. I placed the phone down, folded my napkin with precision, and stood. As I walked away, they remained oblivious to the tempest I had just set in motion. I first crossed paths with my wife in my ambitious youth, when I was neither rich nor poor, just tirelessly carving my way forward. She professed admiration for my tenacity, my unyielding pursuit of greater things, or so she said. In those early days she'd hold my hand in humble eateries, vowing her heart belonged to me, not to wealth. Her family, however, merely endured me, the interloper. Their smiles at gatherings were courteous but cold, their eyes darting to my worn shoes, their stifled snickers betraying them when I mispronounced an exotic wine. I noticed every slight, every veiled taunt, but I kept my peace, convinced she was different. Together, we built a life. I constructed a business, then an empire, step by painstaking step, in the quiet shadows. Yet empires attract avarice, and silence can cloak betrayal. The barb at the wedding wasn't the wound that broke me, it was merely the ignition. The real fracture came months prior, in the stillness of night, when her phone hummed on the bedside table. A message from her sister glowed on the screen. He believes he's the master. Just wait. He'll learn who truly holds the reins. I scrolled through their texts, each word steeped in mockery. My wife, my confidant, had joined her sister in ridiculing me, spending my wealth while scheming to claim properties behind my back. They treated my empire as a chessboard, moving pieces I'd poured my soul into creating. Worse, my wife was the one handing them the pieces. I read every message, memorized every plot, and felt something essential die within. Not love, but trust. Once trust fades, it's a specter that seldom returns. Vengeance doesn't spring from rage. Rage is chaotic. Vengeance is a meticulously built fortress. For weeks, I wove my strategy in secrecy, consulting attorneys, drafting ironclad agreements, orchestrating corporate maneuvers in the early morning hours while they slumbered. Every asset was locked under my name alone, every investment rigged with safeguards they'd never foresee. They saw me as tame, a man with no control. I let them think so. I listened closely, played the fool, and let them believe they held the advantage. Her sister boasted about the resort deal I was funding. My wife crowed that they'd soon own the entire chain. I nodded, smiled, and transferred the money. Money that was never truly theirs. The contracts were crafted so a single word from me could unravel their plans. They never read the fine print, too confident in my supposed ignorance. I wanted them complacent, arrogant, because hubris blinds faster than loyalty. The wedding was the ideal arena. Her sister's nuptials attended by family, friends, and industry titans. They placed me far from the main table, near the kitchen doors, a deliberate slight to underscore my supposed insignificance. Then came the biting remark, the sneer, the laughter, and my wife's piercing silence. That was the moment I chose to strike. One sentence, cancel the contract, and $30 million vanished. The resort deal collapsed, the properties became untouchable, and the empire they thought they'd claimed slipped back into my grasp like dust through their hands. I offered no argument, no explanation. Their expressions told the story. Her sister's face drained of color, my wife's mouth opened in silent shock, and the bride wavered between amusement and dread. I rose, measured and calm, and left them to stew in the quiet. The phone calls started before the dessert was served. Her sister, her attorney, my wife, all ignored. I let them spiral into chaos. By dawn, rumors of the failed deal spread through their elite circles. investors withdrew, partners disappeared, and the resort project crumbled. I hadn't merely voided a contract. I'd obliterated the bedrock of their aspirations. Their empire was an illusion. It had always been mine. I'd woven protections into every facet, while they'd built only overconfidence. That evening, my wife returned home, eyes swollen, voice quaking, demanding why I'd shamed her family. I met her gaze, seeing not the woman I'd sworn to cherish, but the stranger who'd sat silent as her sister mocked me in public. I told her I'd known everything for months, given her every chance to stand by me. She chose silence, so I mirrored her choice, but my silence shattered her delusions. She left 2 weeks later, without protest or tearful pleas, retreating to the family that now held her responsible for their ruin. Her sister's marriage began to unravel before the honeymoon ended. Their dreamed of empire was ashes, their debts outlasting their pride. As for me, I rebuilt, sharper, more resilient, cloaked in a silence that was no longer oppressive but tranquil. I carry no regrets, not a single misstep. Betrayal isn't the knife in your spine, it's the hand that offered the knife to another. My wife passed it to her sister, and I delivered the reckoning they deserved.